Hello, my name is Laura and this is the fourth episode of my knitting podcast. Today I have 2 finished objects, 3 works in progress, and 1 major acquisition that I have been waiting for what I think is a very long time. So I'm very excited that I finally have it in my hands and I'm so excited to share it with y'all. I'm just so excited to always film these because I just get to geek out about the things that I touch every day and the things that I work on. And it's really cool that I hope other people can geek out with me. Anyway, getting right into it, I'm sure you can tell that my first finished object is what I'm wearing. And this is my Monday sweater by PetiteKnit. Now, I knit this in 1 strand of Isager Alpaca 1 and 1 strand of Isager Alpaca 2. Alpaca 1 is 100% alpaca and it's a lace weight yarn. This is the color E8S. I don't think Isager does color names, but it's just like their, was it Chestnut Heather? I think it was Chestnut Heather, something like that, yeah. So it's literally just a lace weight yarn of 100% alpaca, and this is very soft in the ball, and so it made me really excited when I first got this. I was really excited to start knitting with it. And the second Isager Alpaca is Alpaca 2, and this is all I have left of the last, well, not the last ball, but this is all I have left to show you of the ball that I used to work on the sweater. And this is actually 50% alpaca and 50% wool. It might be merino wool, but I don't know. I'm looking at my notes and I just wrote down wool, so I don't know. And this is in the same color, but as you can tell, the wool definitely lightened it up just a little bit. So it kind of created a slightly, I don't know what I would call this, but there's a little bit of color variation in it because you can tell where the lighter one pops out every now and then compared to the darker one. So it's kind of cool. It's not just this one flat color. It's really interesting. But do keep that in mind if you decide to knit with this, that you're not going to get the exact same color. But anyway, that was fine. I was really excited about it. This is slightly less soft, and I think it is because of the wool, or maybe it's just because it's thicker, but I don't know. This is so soft. Oh, so soft. But anyway, the reason that I knit with these is because I saw an Instagram post of somebody who had done this exact combination, and what I really loved was how non-fuzzy her sweater looked. And at the time I was already working on a mohair project, and I really enjoyed that knitting process, but I wasn't sure yet if I was gonna like the mohair because that was my first time using it, and I wasn't sure if I would like the look of the fuzziness that mohair gives. And so that's why I thought just trying something completely new was a safe bet, which doesn't make sense, but I thought trying something completely new would be fun, and so I did. But now that I'm wearing it, so I guess I can talk about the scratchiness. I don't think blocking it maybe blocking it softened it just a little bit, but it's a little itchy up here, around my neck. My sleeves and stuff, it's fine, and you can probably see the sweater's baggy enough that it's not really touching. I'm not wearing anything underneath this just for this purpose, so I could try it and see if it's scratchy or not, because I just pulled it off the blocking mat this morning. And so around here it's loose enough that it's not touching my abdomen, but with my arms and especially my neck right here, it is just a little bit prickly. And I think as I get into just knitting with natural fibers more and more, 2 things will happen. I will probably hone in on the best fibers for me. And then the second thing is that I'll probably also just build up a tolerance to it, because yesterday to work, I actually wore my sweater number 21 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. And that is made out of, I have it sitting right here, EcoSoft, which is a blown yarn that has cotton and alpaca in it. And this one did irritate my neck yesterday while I was wearing it at work. And so same brand, different yarn, but it's both alpaca. So I think basically all this to say, trying a bunch of different yarns is really good because I'm able to see like what I'm sensitive to and what I'm not. So far, one alpaca thing that did irritate me yesterday, and then this alpaca thing that I'm wearing, which is like mildly irritating, but not as bad as the one as my sweater number 21. It's just good to know. It's like kind of, I feel like I'm just collecting data on what I like, what I don't like. And it's not unwearable, like by any means. Like I would probably wear this next to skin, like just from here on out and just get over it. And then I'll be fine, you know? So like, it's not uncomfortable, but it is something to be mindful of if you are like incredibly sensitive to it. So I'm just pretending that I'm not. And I don't think I have like reactions to it other than just literally just being mildly uncomfortable. So like, it's fine. If you ignore it, it goes away. But anyway, last thing on the yarn is the actual knitting experience that it gave. And I was really disappointed with this aspect of this sweater because, well, first of all, the Monday sweater pattern by PetiteKnit, tried and true. It's incredible. I loved it. I did have to knit the arms like significantly longer than she called for in the pattern. I knit a size medium, and by the time I finished like the regular stockinette and she like said to go to the ribbing, my sleeve was up to here, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to do an entire forearm of ribbing, so I had to like extend this much of stockinette, and I just didn't decrease as often. So that was kind of interesting, and maybe I just don't block things very aggressively, and maybe she was like kind of accounting for people who stretch their sweaters out, or maybe they stretch out over time, and I'm going to completely regret doing that. But it looked really silly, so I went ahead and added the extra, and as of right now, after blocking, I'm really glad that I did. But the pattern was really lovely. That's all I really have to say about the pattern, because it's just 10 out of 10. Love it. PetiteKnit. But the knitting experience was not good, I will be honest. Not like it didn't hurt my hands. It didn't, like it wasn't uncomfortable. It wasn't anything other than the alpaca gave no stitch definition, which I had read was a thing that alpaca does. But it made it pretty hard to pick up. Like I had to, I don't really look away when I knit, like I can't do that, but every now and then when I'm feeling a little frisky, I can. But it's completely impossible with this yarn combination for me, because the stitches just want to like be friends. They want to all stick together. All the alpacas like raw buds here, and just the stitches just want to stay together, didn't slide off, especially when there's the two like strands to deal with, and so I might pick up one but not the other, and that was just a little bit frustrating, and for that reason it kind of slowed me down a little bit, and so I wasn't as excited to work on this one, and that's why it took me forever. Like I started this back in May. Today is September, I don't know what today is. Today is September 16th. And I finished this on the 10th of September. But so yeah, it took me a hot minute to make this just because I wasn't super excited to pick it up. And I know that was like 100% the yarn. So all that to say, I don't think I will be knitting with this combination in the near future. I would be curious to see how I like these independently. The Alpaca 1 probably excites me a lot more than the Alpaca 2, but I did try to knit a swatch. Oh, I knit a swatch with this and Sandnes Garn Sunday just to kind of see what the gauge would be on 4mm needles, and it was not good. It was like really wholly not good. This did not add like anything. This might as well have not been there. So it doesn't do what like a lace weight mohair would do, and that it doesn't fill in those gaps. So I don't know what I would ever do with Alpaca 1 ever again, but I like it. I like the idea of it. Maybe trying it again. I just have to figure out what that is. But anyway, overall, a decent knit. The pattern was great. My yarn choice looks great, I think, but maybe didn't have the best knitting experience that I was going for. So anyway, and now For the thing that I was dreading calculating, but actually was pleasantly surprised, was how much I spent on this. So I did buy the yarn ahead of time and then just kind of checked off how much of it I use. I'm so bad, I found out, of like calculating how much yarn I'm gonna need if I change up the recommended yarn. Anyway, that being said, I bought 4 alpaca 1s and 5 alpaca 2, but ended up using 1 less of each. So I used 3 alpaca 1s and 4 alpaca 2s. They were both $11.95 for a grand total for this sweater of $83.65. Which is like, honestly, I think if you can make, at this point with the amount of yarn browsing that I've done, if I can make a full-blown sweater in natural fibers for less than $100, I'm kind of impressed. Like, I am kind of happy. I'm kind of, like, that's like my tick mark. So I was really excited about that. That being said, I did actually buy the 2 extra balls, so I did spend slightly over $100 on the yarn. Overall, I really enjoyed the pattern, the yarn, not so much, but it's fine. Okay, moving on. My next finished object, you already have seen one version of it, but basically I am on a Christmas mission to make everyone in my family a hat, and I have chosen to go with the Oslo Hat pattern by PetiteKnit, and this is my second one. So this one is for my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, and basically what I did is I had everyone send me their favorite color, and this is his, or as close to it as I could find, and I am obsessed with this color blue, let me tell you. Oh my gosh, which it's just so good. I also brought my Oslo hat. So what I did is I tested the pattern to make sure that it was good, that I liked it, that I could tolerate knitting like a million of these. And so I made mine in Double Sunday by Sandnes Garn, and this is the color Electric Blue, which is a PetiteKnit color, I believe. And my brother-in-law sent me a picture of his favorite color, and at first glance I thought it was going to be this exact thing, and I was like, wow, I already made one of those. But I found this, which is, what is this? Okay, this is Lang Yarns Merino 120, which is also a DK weight 100% merino, but this one's superwash. And I didn't know that when I first bought it, but when I got it like in the mail, the package said superwash, and I was like, okay, I mean, it's probably better because it's a gift. But anyway, so mine is not superwash, and this one is superwash. And this Lang Yarns Merino 120 is the color 106 Royal Blue, and I think this much closer matched what his favorite color is, and I love it. It is so cool. So a quick comparison, I knit the size small for me, but I had to make all of it a little bit shorter because I only bought 2 balls of yarn, so I was like really running out. So mine's the size small, and it's the small version of the small, okay? And then this is the largest size in the pattern, which I think is just a large because he got a big head, and that's okay. But this used almost 3 balls. This is what I have left over of the Merino 120. And I did end up doing a gauge swatch just to see. So this is what I did not use in the hat, and that's cool. But yeah, so this is his, and I love the way it turned out. I love the color. And yeah, I had my husband try it on, and the fit is perfect for him, and so I'm just assuming that like they have similar size heads and that it'll fit and it'll be fine. But yeah, I'm really excited about it, and I hope he likes it, and I like it, and if not, my husband said he wants it, so I think I'll have to make one for him too, and that'll be fun. It's fine. But anyway, I think the Oslo Hat's a great pattern. I'm really loving it. Initial comparison of the yarn is that it's really hard to say which one is softer, because they've both been blocked. Yeah, I don't know. The superwash might be just a smidgen like silkier, and it's probably like the superwash coating or however that works that's on it. But overall, both like really, really great. So I'm excited about that. So that's my last finished object that I have to show y'all, which is a close segue into my first work in progress, which is another Oslo hat. And this is the same yarn. So basically after knitting my brother-in-law's hat, I decided pattern's great. And I think like this yarn is really great just for what I'm needing and it being a gift. So superwash is fine. It's a little expensive. Like these are not cheap hats because it needs 3 balls to make pretty much any size. Maybe the extra small you could get away with just 2. But so it's a little pricey, but it's okay. I like it. So this is also Lang Yarns Merino 120, and this is the color 87 red. So yeah, this will be for my dad. He is up next. I don't know why I'm knitting the guys' hats first, but I think I went to this red because everyone else in my family picked some version of blue as their favorite color, and I was just really excited to have something not blue, like not a blue Oslo hat to work on, because I've already done 2 in a row, and I was really excited just to move on to a different color. So shout out to my dad for his favorite color being red. So that's what I'm working on. I have about this much of it done. I'm probably like a couple centimeters away from folding it and flipping it and doing the rest of it. So yeah, it's been good. Pretty pleasant knit. Oh, and my needles. So this is my first time knitting an Oslo hat on my new interchangeable needle set. So I guess it's like kind of an acquisition that I could show y'all, but I'll show you now. Okay, so my primary knitting needles that I work on are knit picks. Oh, what are these called? I don't remember what they're called, but they're just like knit picks. Oh wait, here it is. Interchangeable needles, and they're the Sunstruck wood set. So this was a gift from let me show you the whole thing. So this is like the little case that it comes in, and then you open it up and you have all your needles, and this just like hangs out, and it's got 2, like a zipper here and then a zipper behind. But so these are my needles, and this was actually a gift from my mom a couple Christmases ago. So I just told her that I wanted interchangeable wooden knitting needles, and she picked this out completely on her own, and honestly these are great, and I think for the price as well it's pretty good. Like I looked it up after the fact because I wanted some more, and I think this whole set was like somewhere in the $60 range, maybe a little more than that, which I don't think is bad for like a whole set of interchangeable needles, especially compared to like some maybe higher quality brands that I've heard of that I haven't tried. I think these are like pretty awesome. They're not the pointiest ever, but I don't really knit like a lot of lace or anything, and so for what I need, it is perfect. And however, I'm finding that I need another 4mm set of interchangeables because those are busy all the time and I need them for multiple things. So I think I'm gonna have to get another 4mm interchangeable set. In sad news, my dog sat on my Monday sweater as I was knitting it and broke one of my 3.5mm. So that, I cried over that, I'm not gonna lie. That's the first time I've broken, or my dog has broken, a knitting needle, and it probably won't be the last, but I was sad because I was almost done with the ribbing on the body of this sweater, and I was sad about it. So, anyway, but okay, so these are the needles that I primarily work on, and then what I kind of realized with my first 2 full-length sweaters was that knitting magic loop on sleeves is kind of irritating and slow, which of course there is, like you get to a certain point and like you have to do magic loop, but I really wanted short interchangeable needles, so I went on Knit Picks and I got the same like Sunstruck wood set. They're all the same sizes, but these are the short interchangeable needles. So these are, don't ask me how long they are, but let me get one out to compare. These are this much shorter. I don't know if y'all can see that. Like, I'm trying to show you the bottom too. But look how cute they are. They're so sweet. But I got these for, honestly, this sweater to knit the sleeves. And so I did. I knit all the way up until like maybe the last 2 decreases. I was like getting a little uncomfortable with the circle, like it was too big. So then I switched to magic loop, but it was so freaking fast to knit most of the sleeve with the short circulars. It was incredible. And so, that being said, this is my first time knitting an Oslo hat on my little interchangeable needles, and it's really cute. And yeah, I don't know, because previously I'd done a metal, like just non-interchangeable, just a metal circular needle, and it slid, like the stitches slid off just a little bit too easily, and so I kind of had to like tightly make sure, like hold them so they wouldn't like slip off when I wasn't ready. So this just makes that a little bit gentler on my hands, and I'm enjoying this knitting process much more than the metal needles with the superwash yarn. So anyway, I'm really excited about that. I think the short interchangeable needles were a great investment for me. They were like $55 almost exactly, which is still not nothing. Like, it's still kind of a lot, but based on how much I'm already using them, I know it was a great investment for me, and I'm really excited about them. And I think one day I might branch out into like a little bit like nicer, a little more expensive knitting needles, but for now, like kind of Knit Picks, I think is like middle of the road, just regular interchangeable needles, and that is absolutely perfect for what I'm needing. And also, when my dog sits on one and breaks one, I'm sad, but I'm not like distraught over it, you know? So that is that. Okay, moving into my second work in progress. This is actually a halfway finished object because it is a pair of socks, and it is, let me tuck this in. I'm not woven in the end on my first sock yet, but also, look how big my foot looks. Like, I knit this and I looked at it and I was like, you're joking, right? Like, my foot's not that long. It is this long. Cause like I knit the leg, and I followed the Crazy Sock Lady vanilla sock pattern, just like her free YouTube video tutorial. And she was like, knit 60 rounds on the leg. And I was like, whoa, that's a lot. It's shorter than the foot. Like, anyway, I'm like a women's size 9, so I don't know, I just don't know why that looks, sorry, anyway, I giggled so much when I finished it. I was like, wow, that's kind of ridiculous. But anyway, like I said, Crazy Sock Lady vanilla sock pattern, it's free video on YouTube, and I just followed it exactly. I didn't change anything, didn't do anything, and it's like really nice. I think I struggled to I definitely struggled on this one to get my cast on over the widest part of my foot. So on my second sock, I way loosened my cast on because I'm just a tight knitter in the first place. And so I made a very conscious effort on the second one to be incredibly lax and laid back with my cast on. And I haven't tried it on yet, but it's already way more stretchy than this. So I think it'll be fine. I haven't tried this on since blocking it because I just like took it off the mat this morning. It just dried. And so I don't know if this part is more comfortable than what it was before blocking. But before blocking, it was just like a little bit tight, like just a little bit uncomfortable. So when I laid it out to dry, I kind of like pulled on this part to see if I could loosen it up a little bit. I don't have a sock blocker right now, so I didn't like have a form to put it on to give it a cute little shape. But I tried to shape it as best I could, so we'll see. But anyway, so I have this sock completely done, and I knit this in a hand-dyed yarn. It is called Twisted Ambitions yarn, and this is Sweet Sock, which is, 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon, so a very basic sock yarn, and this is the colorway Ocean. Now, on the color, so this is my second time working with hand-dyed yarn. I say hand-dyed in quotes because if you've seen my finished Stockholm sweater, you'll know that that's like hand-dyed from Hobby Lobby. But anyway, the concept is like pretty same. I keep saying quotes because I doubt Hobby Lobby like hand dyes mass-produced yarn that they send out to all of their stores. If they do, that would be wow. But anyway, sorry, I need to stop using quotes on that. But this is actually hand-dyed, and I got it from my local yarn store. And when I saw it in the skein, like, you know, like hanked and it was like all twisted and pretty, I was like, this is the prettiest yarn I've ever seen in my entire life. I was really excited about it. And then for some reason, whenever it's knitted up, it just looks a little underwhelming. And I experienced the same thing with the yarn that I used for my Stockholm sweater, and I don't know if that's just because I've spent so much time looking at it, or if I really am like just not a hand-dyed yarn person, but I feel like it got much more green than it looked in the hank, and yeah, I don't know, like those like pops of color are still definitely there, but it kind of like muted itself in some way, like after knitting it up. So maybe that's just a hand-dyed sock or a hand-dyed yarn thing. I don't know. I am definitely not done with hand-dyed yarn, especially sock yarn. Like after knitting this first sock, oh, by the way, here's my second sock. I am so close to being done with it. I think I have like 5 more rounds before I'm gonna do the toe decreases. So I am incredibly close on this guy. And this is how much I have left, by the way. Like there is a lot of this left. I'm gonna weigh it after I'm done because this was 100 grams. And that's gonna be a lot left over. But anyway, I am not done with hand-dyed yarn yet, but I think I'm starting to kind of recognize that how it looks hanked up is not going to exactly be how it looks once it's knitted. And that's okay. Like it is still really beautiful, but yeah, it just kind of is a little more muted, muddied, if you will, than in the hank, and that's okay. It's okay. But knitting socks is a lot of fun. I started these like a long time ago. I started these back in, well, I guess only last month. 2 months ago. What month is it? 2 months ago. I started these 2 months ago, and I should have been finished with them by now, but I was just excited to knit on other things instead, and that's okay. This is just a great thing to pick up whenever I was bored. But where was I going with that? I don't know. Oh, knitting socks is fun. Like it's cute. And like all of this was like super easy and fun. And then when I got to the heel, like to do like the little flap and then like the little heel turn, I was scared that it was going to be really complicated and really hard, but it wasn't. It was like super straightforward and really fast and easy. And so now I'm thinking like, maybe I just need to knit like a lot more socks because it's not as hard as I thought it was going to be. And it was actually kind of fun, and it's easy to like put this in my purse and just carry it with me and like knit on it just a little bit. Like this is the perfect on-the-go project. Like even when I'm working on like almost a full-length sock, like this folds up so easily and I can just like work on it and then put it back in my purse when I'm done, and then that's so easy. So am I gonna be a sock knitter from now on? I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna go like out of my way to do one like every month or something, but I think it would be really pleasant to always have a pair of socks on the needles because it's just so easy to pick up and just knit like a couple rounds and then like set it back down. So I really like it. Yeah, so that is my second work in progress / kind of finished object. I am blown away at how large my foot is. You know what? And but actually, I haven't tried this on after blocking, so maybe I overdid it. I don't know. I'll let you know once both of them are finished. So that's that. Okay, now moving into my last work in progress. Y'all, I saw this pattern on Instagram and then it wasn't out yet and I was like, oh, it's beautiful, but I'm not gonna do it. I I'm not gonna do it. I have like too many other things I'm working on, too many other things I'm planning on working on, I'm excited about. This was not in the plans. And like the pattern hadn't come out yet. And then she released the quantity of like how much yarn you'll need for your size. And so I just looked it up just to see like how much it was gonna be. And the recommended yarn was going to be another $100 sweater. And that I was like, absolutely not. I'm not gonna do it. No, not for this. But then the pattern came out, and that day I just happened to be at Hobby Lobby because I am working on a weaving project, and I just wanted a bunch of like really cheap, like kind of scrappy like yarn that I can work on that with. And I just passed by the cotton-ish section and I found this, which is Yarn Bee Bamboo-tiful in the color white. And this is 50% cotton and 50% viscose from bamboo. And a couple things here. So the pattern calls for 100% cotton, and this is 50% bamboo. But I say always, the past year, I have been very interested in bamboo yarn, but just haven't found the opportunity or haven't found the yarn. And so when I found this, I was like, why not? Why not? And also Hobby Lobby does this thing where every other week the yarn is 30% off. So it was 30% off. And so this individual ball of yarn was like just over $3. And that is unheard of for natural fibers, I guess. I guess viscose would be a natural fiber. I mean, it takes processing. I don't know. I like to tell myself that it is. Anyway, I bought it and I started knitting blouse number 2 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. And it is so fun. So this is it so far. I hope you can see or I don't know if me being in there will help you see the pattern a little bit better, see the holes and stuff, but this is it. This is what I have so far. I just barely joined to knit in the round for the body. I think I've only got like 2 rounds of that done so far. This is what I have. And y'all, so when I found this, I thought it was just meant to be. Like the universe really wanted me to make this blouse, and I was really excited to try something new. But okay, so I have heard people say that knitting with yarn is like knitting with butter. Like it is so soft, it's so fun. And I heard that and I was like, okay, I mean, sure, like you do you, like that's interesting. This is it. I found my butter and it is this yarn that will probably get discontinued in like just a few months. But it's fine, I'm gonna enjoy it while I have it. I cannot speak to how it wears, I cannot speak to how long it lasts, like anything, but I can just tell you that it is so soft and pleasant to knit with. Like I've heard that cotton, I've never knit with like 100% cotton before, and I've heard that it can be really hard on your hands, like it has no give to it, it's not as fun. But I think the bamboo in this like really gives it some beautiful drape, and it's like kind of got some squishiness to it. And this is nice to knit with. It is slippery, I will be honest. It slips off the needles as easy, like just as fast as it can. And it also, let me see if you can see this. It does split. Is this what splitting is called? Where like it comes unplied or like untwisted pretty easily. So it's basically, what is that, like there's like probably 8 strands that are plied together. So it does kind of like split a little bit. If you're not paying attention, you might only get like half of the plies when you go to knit. But I am willing to work with that because it is so soft and because it's just so nice. Oh my gosh, y'all, I'm freaking out. Why? I mean, like it's Hobby Lobby yarn. Like why am I excited about this? But guys, they have just really stepped up their game too. Like I was walking around And they had like 100% like natural fibers, which Hobby Lobby has never done before. Like it's always been like acrylic and maybe like 2% wool or something. So I was just kind of blown away. Like I don't think it's, let's see, this thing. So I'm working on a weaving project and this has like actual alpaca in it, which blew my mind for like a box store. I didn't think they did that. So anyway, pretty cool. Maybe they're stepping it up. Maybe they're like recognizing that people don't want as much acrylic as they usually do, or maybe people do want acrylic and that's why they keep doing it. But I personally think they're onto me and they know what I want, and so that's why this was out. But I am really enjoying this yarn so far. Okay, sorry, and now onto the pattern and I'm done gushing about the yarn. So this is blouse number 2 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and it is like a pretty straightforward pattern. Like it looks like, yeah, I mean, like it's pretty nice. What it basically is like you work in the round up until like this point, and then you knit the front panel and the back panel separately. So this is like kind of a raglan style increase, and this is my first complaint with, if not the pattern, then with myself, but my make one lefts, I don't know, maybe vice versa, but like my make one left is like significantly worse than my make one right. So there's just like, I think, a giant hole. Like you can see, I don't know if y'all can see that, like up here. I hope y'all can see that. But that's probably my fault, and so I might have to go back and do that. But like doing a raglan on this, the wool is much more toothy, the alpaca is toothy, so it like wants to stick together. This doesn't care about like touching another strand of cotton. It's just like going about its own business and it's like, I don't care about you next to me. Therefore, that's probably why it like gaps a little bit when I do that, and it does not want to naturally fill in that hole. So just keep that in mind. I might have to go seam that up, but also maybe it's not a problem. Maybe I was just like freaking out about it in the moment, because now that I'm looking at it, like it's not as bad as I thought. But I still don't look at it and be like, wow, that's really well done. So anyway, so this is the yoke and I'm pretty excited about it. The one thing about this pattern that I personally don't know makes a lot of sense, and like it's not very clear in her pattern pictures or any of like the Instagram posts that I've seen about it, but so the entire sweater is this kind of knit purl and then holey pattern, right? And there is short row shaping to make the neck a little bit higher, but the short row shaping is 100% stockinette stitch. And so I personally think it looks a little out of place with like this much stockinette right next to the pattern. Can y'all see that very well? Yeah. So I personally think that looks a little out of place. I think if I were to make this again, I might throw in, like I might make 1 or 2 rows, a purl row to kind of make it feel like it matches the pattern a little bit. And maybe it's because it curls up, it is stockinette, like it's going to curl up. Maybe that's why she did it, because it's not really going to be that noticeable. And if you have long hair, like your hair is going to cover it. But I think it looks a little out of place. Yeah, and so maybe that's why I haven't seen it in any of the pattern photos or like Instagram posts. But just keep that in mind. And like also maybe some people really love it and like maybe that's like their favorite detail. But for me it looks a little out of place, and so I don't think I would knit it that same way if I were to knit it again. Yeah. And also I haven't finished the sweater, so maybe she matches this like stockinette section somewhere else, so like maybe it kind of matches that, but I haven't gotten there yet, so we'll see. But overall, the pattern is really nice. It's pretty slow going because you'll do like a purl row or a knit row just like incredibly quickly, but then when you get to that holey row, it's just a little bit slower. So I feel like I've been trying to power through those sections, but that's okay. I also don't like setting things down when I'm in the middle of like a complicated row, and so whenever I sit down to do it, I'm going to have to like make sure I have time to sit down and do the entire round. Like, especially now that I've joined for the body, I have not done like the holy row yet. It's actually the one I'm about to do, and I just haven't sat down to do it yet because I'm a slow knitter when it comes to that. So it'll probably take me like a solid 20 minutes to get through one round. Maybe not quite 20, but it's definitely not nothing. So yeah, it's a good pattern so far. I'm liking it, and I'm loving this yarn. I need to calm down about this. I don't know why I'm so excited. Anyway, I really hope that the finished product feels as nice on as it does while I'm knitting it, because this is just so soft and so nice. But it does split, so keep that in mind. But yeah, anyway, that is the last work in progress that I have to show you guys. And now, for the thing that I have been waiting on for what feels like forever. So I wanted to film this podcast as soon as I got this yarn in, because I think that would have made so much sense. I would have had this done. I would have pushed through to have this done by the time I filmed it, and like I would have had a great acquisition to show y'all. So I ordered this yarn on August 6th, and it just came in this week, which is September something, right? So this yarn took an entire month to come in, which I was aware of this. They put on their website, like, there's one in stock-ish. There's one-ish in stock. If you want more than that, it'll take 1 to 2 weeks, because they have to, like, ship it in from wherever. And so I knew that, but I was like, I can wait 1 to 2 weeks. Like, that'll give me plenty of time to finish my Monday sweater, and, you know, it'll come in, and then I'll just, like, do a little podcast and whatever. It took a month. It took, it did not take 1 to 2 weeks. I sat sad for a long time. And even at one point, they sent me an email and said, hey, we haven't forgotten about you. It's just taking a while. I'm like, okay, thanks. But anyway, it finally came in, and here it is. I purchased a sweater quantity of Sandnes Garn Double Sunday. Now, I have knit with Double Sunday before in my Oslo Hat, but I've never made a sweater out of Double Sunday. I've heard it pills really bad, like I've heard lots of things, but I've also heard it's soft, and I think it's completely worth it. So I bought 9 of this and 4 of this, which this is the same yarn that I used to make my Oslo hat. Oh, they look a little bit, no, they look the same. Maybe a little different. Anyway, this is the same yarn that I used to make my Oslo hat, the same color. And when I picked it out, I was like, no, I can't. I shouldn't do the same color. I've already got one. Like, I need to branch out. I need to try something new. But I just kept coming back to this electric blue, and I'm so excited about it. So anyway, this is the color Putty, and this is the guy that took a month to come in, so I hope he's worth it. And this is the color Electric Blue, and together they will become the Porcelain sweater by Knit. And I'm so excited. Okay, so I ordered, like I said, 9 of these and 4 of these. Let me show you the whole kit and caboodle. There she is. I'm so excited. Okay, so the pattern calls for 1 strand of fingering and 1 strand of mohair. But again, why am I against mohair right now? Because I finished like my one sweater vest with mohair in it, and I wear it all the time, but I always wear it like over something. And so I think my thought process behind ordering this was that I wanted something that I can definitely wear next to my skin and not be irritated by it. So I X-nayed the mohair and just went for a DK weight merino. And because of that, there was no like recommendation for how much yarn you'll need in just a DK in the pattern. And so I had to do like my own little calculations, and clearly I'm bad at that based on this sweater and having 2 entire balls left over. So I ordered 1 less of this than I calculated, So if I run out, like, it's okay because I purposefully ordered one less. But if it's perfect, then I'll be like, oh, I'm so smart, I didn't order extra. But I did order 4 of these, which is probably maybe a little more than I'll need, but I'm okay with that because I love this color. And I'm tempted to make my Oslo hat a little bit longer because I was running out of yarn on this because I only bought 2. I shortened this guy a little bit, and so it sits really close to the top of my head. And so I was tempted to, like, if I have some left over, extend this, but I'm not really sure if it's worth it yet. I might wear this a lot, it might stretch out and I'll love it. But just in case, I'm okay with having a little extra of this. I love this color. Okay, but yeah, this will become the Porcelain sweater by Knit. Now, I have never, ever, ever in my life knit anything to do with color work. I have done intarsia before, which is completely different, but that is the only thing I have ever, like, done that works with, like, multiple colors. I've never even knit stripes on anything. Like, wow. Yeah, I've never changed colors in knitting other than a little intarsia thing. So this is going to be completely new for me. And also, you have to knit the color work on the purl side because it'll be like a typical drop shoulder construction where you knit the back panel and then you pick up, well, I'm pretty sure, I haven't read the pattern yet, and then you pick up stitches for the front and then knit the front and then you connect in the round and all that good stuff. So you have to knit color work on the purl side. And so that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting. I'm not afraid. I'm excited. I'm into it. And I have decided that this sweater is going, like, if it carries with me till the very end of the year, like, that's okay. I just really want to take my time on this and I want it to be as nice as I can make it. This is definitely going to be a knitting, like, I'm sitting down for the knitting experience and also for the finished product, in that I want to do a really good job knitting so I have the best possible finished product. So I know everyone is on knitting Instagram and I am too, but I'm also really into Pinterest, and Pinterest has discovered that I love knitting, and so this porcelain sweater is just everywhere. Like, it just, every time I open Pinterest, it's just, like, in front of me. And I think I've even pinned it, so you think that it would, like, go away since I already have it, but it just keeps showing up. And so the, like, what's that called? Like, subconscious, the subliminal messaging is working and I fell for it. So, like, I'm so excited about this sweater. And also what kind of excited me about it is my husband's mom and grandma are both really into Polish pottery. And I don't think that the porcelain sweater is that. Like, I don't think she was inspired by Polish pottery whenever she made it, but it was specifically the white and the blue that reminded me of it. And so I thought it'd be kind of fun to, like, I don't know, make something that, like, my husband's side of the family is, like, really obsessed with. And just maybe if I really enjoy the knitting process, maybe I'll make one for them one day. I don't know, it would be really cool if I could. But yeah, so that's what got me really excited about the pattern. I'm not going to cast it on quite yet. I think I'm going to get a couple of other things off the needles yet so I can give this a lot of my attention. But yeah, so that's it. And I'm so excited. I can't believe this took a whole month to come in. But anyway, okay, that's it. So that's all I have for this episode. I have a lot of things on the needles right now for me, 3 works in progress, but the sock will be done soon. Hat's just a hat. And then I also have something else coming in the mail that I'm gonna cast on before this guy, and I think I'll have to wait to tell you about it. So, but anyway, that's all I have for this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.